Hello, my name is Bigger Calves and welcome to another solo CM money run setup. This time I have a Shadow setup, so we have Shadow, Bofa, and Lance. I imagine this is what a lot of Irons might have that are getting into solo CMs, like you grinded out T-Way for your Shadow, and now you're heading to Cox for a T-Bow. If you can clear these raids consistently, I think they are a little bit better than regular raids, although they are a lot harder. So, just to be honest, they are pretty difficult. You can clear them consistently, but it's gonna take a lot of practice. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, first hammer can be on aggressive since it's a guaranteed hit. And then we switch to accurate. We get a second one. Yay, we got a second one. Fang is really not that bad at Tekton. It's usually like a 2 anvil. And this method is the same as the scythe method. Also 5-tick weapon, so do the same thing. This closer, I believe, is a little bit better than dragging him all the way back there. Just because when you drag him back there, you do get 1 extra Fang per anvil cycle. But you have to wait twice as long for that Fang, because, you know, Tekton has to walk over to you as well as walk back. So you can think of it as adding a 10-tick Fang at the end of your anvil cycle, which I don't think that's worth it. Especially considering that these 2 anvil Tektons are very consistent. As you can see, even if 1 anvil happens sometimes. But yeah, it's mostly 2 anvils, even if you miss the second hammer. For crabs, just equip your Bofa. Run in and drag yourself in. Oh. Unlucky. Crab got stuck on the other crab. So lost a bit of time there, but that's fine. Okay, now I'm pre-sorting my inventory, putting the items together that I'm gonna deposit for floor 3. So lance, warhammer, ZGS, and pickaxe. So we run over here, onto the axe, drop 2 potions. Then make your way back to the tinderbox. There's your chop. Okay, drop your kindling, then you deposit all your items first. And then you keep chopping. You can make your way back here. So the trick while we're stacking the kindling here is that, as you can see, I can just drop the kindling and keep my chop cycle going. Normally, if you run back and forth, you have to start a new cycle every time, which loses a couple ticks each time. Stacking kindling is one of the best money milking techs you can do in a CM. That's because unlike normal sims, normal raids, in normal raids, each kindling is 32 points, and in CMs it's 48 points. So this is really efficient. You can get around 180k points per hour doing this chopping thing. And we're chopping enough to hit the point cap. Point cap is reached around 4 full stacks plus 20 kindling. So now we have about 4 stacks, and we need a little bit more. Okay. And sip a stamina here. Summon a thrall. Now the enhance can regen your prey a bit more, which is nice. Just lighting all the braziers. You put your Ember Light on Slash. If you did Vasa last, then it will be on Stab. Overload right as this debuff timer goes down. You can Void Wrecker, you can Ember Light spec Ice Demon, since we're not gonna Void Wrecker Shamans with the Bofa setup. It's just awkward to time it correctly. Pick up Mushroom and Brew. Ember Light is now strictly better than Burning Claws, although you can bring both if you want. But I'm like this, since this is a money raid, my idea here is we want to keep it simple. We don't want to bring 1,000 items that each save like a couple seconds each at most. Okay, get a Death Charges. And we're brewing every 25 ticks or 15 seconds. It's like a really good tech for the whole raid, basically. This allows us to keep our HP high and our DPS high, because every 15 seconds, Overload re-ups your stats, so you want to brew ideally right before each time that happens. And if you keep that going, you always have max DPS, basically. That's the goal. Run over here, equip your melee gear here. And get that, then equip the Void Wrecker and the offhand. I want to deposit our range gear, Ember Light, and the potions here. We want to make a total of 8 vials. So we're doing 1 Revite and 7 brews. It's a little bit over prepped, I would say, but if you're already prepping, I think might as well. You might as well just go for the whole 7 brews. Could also do like a 6 brew or something, or a 5 brew. It's probably also completely fine. But yeah, it only takes a couple seconds longer, and then you have some extra leeway at the end, just in case Muttadiles goes badly or something like that. Okay. We want to deposit 5 brews and get our potions out. And keep 1 Revite on us. As you go down, make sure you brew to full. And Revite. So. Can Thrall if you want, it's optional. Okay, we hit a pretty high hit on the melee, so we're going to the major instantly, and then we're hitting the ranger late. You do 1 to 2 hits on the melee, depending on how high you hit. Okay, you can do 2 here. This red box is the melee wander range from the Cox Vanguards plugin. Basically, because the melee spawned here, he can never wander all the way to the east here. Which means that we can do this. We can just stand here and he can't reach us. If he spawns in the east or south, we would have to corner trap him. Okay. Picking melee for 1 tick. If you're in melee gear, the melee does not do that much damage, so it's completely fine to tank it a little bit. Okay. Okay, so now we want to get a death charge from the melee and or major, ideally. That way we can Void Wrecker spec the ranger at the end again. Careful picking up these potions, because the ranger, I believe, can aggro you. Not 100% sure. Oh, he can't, okay. Okay, we grab all the pots. We don't need that second overload. Except the prayer enhance. Now, as we make our way to the place to deposit the grubs, I'm gonna sort our inventory a little bit. Here we want to deposit a Fang, 4 brews, and a restore, a revive. So I've got this set up already nicely here. Now we're gonna thieve always sets of 3 chests to keep the scav eating until we're just below 30 grubs total. So you can see that right there. And when we are just below 30, because 30 would end the room, we're gonna thieve up to 40, squeeze some extra points out. It's basically the same idea as milking Ice Demon by over thieving, if you wanna call it that. Okay, 25, so we know this is the last one. 2 to 3 grubs, so it's gonna be 27, 28. Okay. Now we just thieve these 4 chests. That was a long chest, holy. And then we're done. 39 is good. Deposit all that. Keep going with your shadow. Make sure your quick prayers are set correctly. Inval Vigor here. Maybe stretch your run energy a little bit more because you're losing this prayer anyways. Oh, make sure you overload as well. And also you can summon a thrall. You might be wondering why, because, you know, it can't reach the portal. But the reason is pretty simple. We're point milking again by killing Vespula. Oh, well, no, we're not killing her. We're like hitting her a little bit. Because she has an 8 times point multiplier. Meaning every point of damage is 8 points, which is twice as much as anything else in the raid. So it's very worth hitting her a little bit. Now, you don't want to overdo it. Like, you don't want to down Vespula, because then she does a lot of damage to you. So we're stopping at around 30% HP. If you don't have an anti-poison going, stop a little bit early, like 60% or so. Oh, we downed her anyways. Okay. That's fine. Not 100% sure how the downing mechanic works, to be honest, but... can sip and enhance to go back in a little bit earlier. So yeah. My mage gear is not that great, so this is taking a little bit, but this is still much better than the Bofa. This is probably the room where the shadow helps the most in the whole raid. Or a T-bow if you have that, of course. It's also great. So everything always spawns on this tile. So now we brew to full. Use this tile to run through, saves a tick. I'm just brewing to completely full. Remember, we prepped, we have a lot of supplies. Except your stamina. Summon a thrall. Now we're killing Tightrope for points. Tightrope is a good room to do for points. But we're doing a little bit differently than the T-bow method. We're stepping like north here for 1 tick. This is basically delaying ourselves for 1 extra tick. Because the projectile speed is so slow off the shadow that if you don't do this, then the rangers might hit you because they might still be... they might get hit as they come back into render distance, which means they will be aggro on you, so... simply delaying a tick like this prevents that. You can also, you know, you can use another method if you want, like you could stall a tick here. for example. It also works. But I found this method pretty easy. Okay. We finish off these guys. Pick to melee armor as your tank. Prevents a lot of damage. Below 40 HP, we want to tick eat. Since I can hit really high. You don't want to risk it. Okay. Now we want to equip our Voidwaker and Offhand. Make some room here. Okay, now we want to grab our range gear. Then our floor 3 items, and then we fill up with brews. So we should have 4 brews here. Put the Voidwaker on stab for the Vasa crystals. And get into your range gear. Or you can, now we're basically sorting, you can sort your inventory a little bit here. Want to put our range gear down there. As you go. Like that. I'm also putting my gloves here. And then putting my Revite here. We're gonna finish off this Revite by the time we finish Guardians. And then the idea here is that we have an easier time to do a full switch. Guess you could also do this. Don't want to brew too high here because like you want to be between 50 and 60 HP, I would say. So I'm brewing once more. Because the flame for the Vasa entrance does damage based on your current HP. So don't want to be too high. You don't want to be too low either. So you get chanced, of course. You don't want to get chanced. Finish off this thing. Spam click the entrance. We run in, get into your range gear. Summon the thrall, run back. And we're doing two Bofa hits. These two Voidwakers really help a lot to make this room more consistent. It's like a night and day difference between using them or not. Can finish off this enhance here. Yeah, so if you don't Voidwaker Vasa, you have a very decently high chance to get teleports, so basically to get DPS checked. But if you do the double Voidwaker, it's very, very rare. I've only had it happen once in like 15 raids I've done with this setup. And in that raid I also messed up a bunch and lost a bunch of ticks. Okay. We have Voidwaker and Offhand, then we grab these two brews. Now resip, okay, resip overload. We want to have a fresh overload so it lasts us all the way through Muttadiles. You don't want to re-overload in the middle of Muttadiles, that's really bad. Into your mage gear. Restores. Okay, corner safe spotting this guy. Now we want to sort our inventory a little bit. I like to put it like this. And now our goal is to enter Muttadiles with full HP and full spec. So we want to get every death charge. And if we're not full HP, we want to brew on 15-second intervals. This is our main goal, basically. Melee me. Okay, melee me. Oh yeah, we got meleeed. Ouch. Not like that. I meant to say go into melee mode. Okay. Brew here. I'm gonna brew again. Now we pre-triggered the, because of where Vasa died, we pre-triggered the entrance here, so gotta deal with that. Run under. Okay, melee, and switch, flick your melee gear like that. One more, and now we're gonna go for the ZGS. Hopefully we hit one. Okay. Okay. So we're still doing our step unders. Oh, I brewed one tickle 8, that's bad. But we're gonna get a death shot from the baby mutter. But see, if he unfreezes, it often just stands, doesn't go to the eating right away, so. Oh, don't stand in a corner like that. So you saw there I was flicking melee gear. I only had one shot at this to freeze this guy. Flicking melee armor really helps making this room, making Mama Mata more consistent. Okay. Now we can sort our gear. Brew up. So see, I refreshed my overload. So, well, vigor. Tip the stamina. Now we deposit everything that we don't need. I'm gonna equip our offhand, deposit the Void Waker, then we get our 2 restores, 7 brews. Get into our range gear. I get into a mage gear main. Staff on accurate. We don't get a Warhammer at the start here, because we had to 3 times Warhammer Muttadiles. So we're just starting by running instantly. Okay. Oh. So for Olm, our goal now is to, besides doing the method correctly, unlike me, for Olm, our goal now is to always be max HP. So we want to brew on every 15-second interval. We can. Let's start from the middle. See what he does. Okay, 2 autos means we need to do a 3-to-1. We skip one of our attacks. Camping Mage Spray is ideal here. That's because every time you skip an auto or you skip a special, it has a chance to switch its style. So even if the last attack was a ranged attack, it has a pretty high chance of being a mage attack next. So on average, praying mage being in melee armor will mean you take less damage. Yeah, if you don't have a hammer for P1, I prefer to just do a 0 hammer start, since then you can do every other phase with a hammer start, which makes the starts much nicer. If you don't have a hammer for P2 starts, it gets kind of awkward. You get teleport sometimes on the side and stuff like that. There are also ways to deal with that, but I prefer to just skip that hammer. I don't have one. A mage, flicker in some melee gear. Tank these range attacks. If you want, optionally, you can also go with Vile Vigor, with Mystic Vigor instead of Augury. Save some prayer, and in this setup at least, it doesn't lose a max hit. So the time loss is actually surprisingly minimal. I believe it's like 1.5 seconds over the whole Olm. 3 hands. You just camp Mystic Vigor. So it's definitely an option if you feel like the prayer is tight. Or you could fit a third enhance in as well. For me personally, I just think that I'd rather have a 7th brew. Especially with Bofa for the head phase. Okay, we got 2 autos, so we're gonna do a 3-2-1. Re-overload. Okay, between phases you might as well triple brew. And if your prayer is high like this in the 40s, you can Val Vigor to get some run energy back. You want to keep your prayer low to avoid, like every time Olm does a mage orb attack, it drains a percentage of your current prayer, so you want to keep it low if you can. Start off with a long range hit. Saves you, I believe, 1 auto attack from Olm. Going with Mystic Vigor again. The accuracy is a little bit lower, but it really does not, barely makes a difference in the setup. You didn't know the augury percentage does not get multiplied with a shadow, I believe. So often that 1% doesn't make a difference. Okay, we can do one more here. So now, since this is a flame phase, it's P3. P3 can always be flames. We want to start this phase like that. Just run to the middle twice. This nulls any potential flame walls while you're setting up, while you're getting cycles. So in case it did 2 auto attacks there, which it didn't, we would be able to null all the flame walls while setting up. But now we only got 1 auto, which means we're already in cycle. Brewing again on 15-second intervals. And for the Bofa Head Phase, I just like to spam brew start. And we got ourselves collected again. Okay, so now we're doing 5-1, which means we want to be attacking at this on the same tick that Olm is attacking on. And on the north side, we'll drag ourselves. And you ideally want to dodge some crystals as well. Definitely eating a lot more than I should. But yeah, dodging crystals can be kind of difficult with 5-1. But you tank about like roughly half as much auto attacks as with the normal method. So it's still worth it in my opinion, even if you tank in a crystal occasionally. Energy's getting kind of low, so I'm restoring. And then while vigoring. The ticket here. Okay, and we're done. Sorry, I had to lock in a little bit there at the end. That Bofa 5-1 method is definitely difficult. If you can get your hand on a DHCP, highly recommend. It's much nicer for head phase, also faster, saves like 10 seconds, I believe. And you take less, like it's a lot easier to do. It's basically the same method as the T-Bow method. So yeah, to finish the raid, we had some brews left, which is nice. Had to kind of brew a bunch in the Bofa phase, but you know, sometimes that just happens. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this one. Oh yeah, talking about the points. This is a pretty fast raid, 31-39. Definitely one of the faster ones I've had. I believe my average is somewhere around like 30 to 33 minutes with the setup. Which would be around, I believe, 118,000 points per hour. Which is, let me just punch in the calculator a little bit. Roughly 126k per hour equivalent for regular raids, which is really good. Like if you're getting 126,000 points per hour in regular raids, you're going really fast. I believe that's something like 3.5 raids per hour. So yeah, this is definitely doable, but it's difficult for sure. So hope you enjoyed this, and see you in the next one. Bye.